Recording?
Yes, I just didn't hear it because okay. Good morning, everyone. It is Thursday, November the 9th at 11 a.m. And we'll officially call this special board meeting to order. So we'll do a quick roll call starting at this end today, if that's okay.
Dan Wojak, District 2.
Edna Moss, District 4.
Carly Hoover, District 1.
Charlie Simpson, District 3.
Dave Larson, District 5.
All right. Welcome to all of our guests that may be listening in the future to this recording, and welcome, of course, to Jose. So we'll move to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. So now we'll move to our discussion, which is, of course, our interview. So you have the interview questions in front of you. That way, just can be a helpful tool, and we'll just kind of go rotate through who asks the question. Hopefully I won't fudge it up this time like I did last time. Dave, you mind getting us started?
Okay. First of all, I got to say this is kind of historic. For some of you, actually had 5 school board members in about a year and a half.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
Pretty
it's
exciting.
great. Full compliment. So welcome. Appreciate you stepping up on this. Please tell us something about yourself and your involvement with the Tukwila schools and school district community.
Well, I retired from Boeing after 37 years, 15 years being a first line manager. I moved to, wasn't Tukwila then, but I moved here in 74, graduated from Foster. My wife graduated from Foster. I have 3 children that graduated from Foster. And we adopted 2 little ones to go to Thorndike, and my grandson lives with us, and he goes to Thorndike. So, all the time the kids were in school, we were involved with whether it was field trips, PTA, sports. We were always around. We helped out in classes and all that. So we've been around the school district a long time. So other than that, it's a nice little school district. It's always been a good little school district.
Thank you. Really quickly before we go to the next question, just want to name, we have Alex Brewster, our junior student representative, now here with us online. So welcome, Alex. Glad you're here. I'm curious if you have the questions with you, because if so, we'd love to get you in the rotation of asking those questions.
Yeah, I have the questions with me in my email.
Okay. Perfect. So we're just getting started with question 1, and we'll have you go after Director Bolerjack, but I'll let you know when that is. Glad you're here.
Perfect.
Okay,
All
yeah,
right.
that sounds good.
Okay, right on.
All right, Jose. Question 2. In your application, you shared why you want to be a director. Will you please share with us what strengths do you see yourself bringing to the board of directors?
Well, like I said, I've been around a long time. I've watched the district change from many things. I worked at Boeing. I was in charge of the tooling on 3rd shift. I was the only tooling manager there. So I could pretty much have to look at the overall picture and be able to judge and see what the outcome should be and what we would want the outcomes to be. I know a lot of the parents, a lot of the children still getting to know even more. Now, the 3 little ones are here. So I can give a lot of input on how they feel and what they're wanting out of the school district.
Thank you. Please share with us your perception of what the role of a school board director is.
I look at them as a gatekeeper, one that watches, make sure that the finances are all in order, that the education programs or have the ability to teach the children what they need to know and make them succeed. And then also get the community and the parents involved with the school, the children.
Thank you.
Okay. School board directors make many decisions. What should the prime considerations be for a director when making a decision?
In my eyes, it should be what is a benefit to the students? Because that's what we're here for, the students. That's the biggest decision we should look at is what every decision we make, how does it benefit the children in the school?
That's great. Please share your thoughts about the involvement of school directors in the day-to-day operational decisions of the Tukwila School District.
I don't know if we have to be so involved in the day-to-day as the overall picture and the year, but you get down to day-to-day, you start micromanaging, and you don't want to do that. So I think as far as our day-to-day is just to be there so the parents and the teachers can talk to us and ask us questions and give us their input into what the district is. Not to tell the principal what to do or teachers what to do. It's all the superintendent's job. And we have to oversee what the superintendent does, what the administration does, and make sure it's equal for everybody.
All right, Alex, you are up next. Question 6.
Okay. Oh yeah, I just unmuted myself. Can you guys hear me, right?
Yes.
Okay. So question 6. What do you believe are the key elements of a cohesive and effective board of directors?
They have to be open, transparent, flexible, and willing to have open conversations about everything.
Okay. Please describe your current thinking about social justice and racial equity in the education system in general.
I think it's all needed. But there's a fine line of what's too much and what's, you don't want to overdo it, overstep the boundaries into the parents' role. But I think it's needed. We need to teach some of it.
Could you perhaps expand a little bit more on maybe what some of it is, what that means, what some specifics about what that is?
I mean, we have so many different cultures here. They have different social aspects. You need to be careful what you're teaching these children on, because you don't want to infringe on their culture and their social aspects. So that's what I'm saying, the fine line. We do need to teach social, justice, but you also got to look at the other side and not over teach it. So you're stepping into those cultures. And so, because that causes a lot of animosity amongst the parents. And you confuse the students, which causes a lot of problems in the schools.
Question 8. Tukwila School District is committed to advancing racial and educational equity. and this continued to be a place of growth for us. What experiences do you have working to advance racial equity for yourself and within an organization or an educational setting?
Well, after working and going for 37 years, being a manager for the last 15, we had to do a lot of, the last 10 years of being a manager, we had a lot of different cultures coming in. A lot of different that we had to work with, learn about. You really need to learn about these cultures. You can't just assume. You need to go in and learn and talk to them and see how they feel, what they want. And I think, that's one way of advancing, is making sure everybody understands. We have a lot of cultures, a lot to learn, but when I go pick up my children every day at Thorndike, I talk to a lot of them, and I learn a lot from them. Just in day-to-day conversations, you learn. You start thinking, well, geez, that's not that much different than what we already think about. It's just how they present it to you. So that's the best way to advance, is to learn about it, talk to the people. I don't see, when we have things at school, I don't see a lot of them coming. Why don't they come? We have to, ask them. Some of it's, they don't understand what we're doing. Their culture thinks that it's something else. It's like I learned the other day that when you go to Somali, they don't believe in lions. They don't believe in having a lion for anything. You just go up there and you do it. We're here, you got lions for lunchroom, lions to go to class, lions for this, and you're thinking, why are these children so, I guess they look defiant because they don't want to be in line, because their culture doesn't look at lions. They don't believe in lions. So that's part of this learning we have to do, and how do we work it into the school district so everybody understands it.
Thank you. What do you see as the board's role in leading for racial equity?
I think our role is to be the leader, be the ones to get out there and learn about it, understand it, and show the children, the parents, and the teachers that we can all work together if we all understand each other. But we have to be the leaders. We can't sit here and expect the superintendent or the teachers or the parent educators to do it if we're not going to go out there and do it. If we're not going to go out and talk to the parents on once a week, go to the school and just stand out there when they're catching the bus and talk to people and see how they do it, understand them.
Thanks.
Please share your thoughts about the relationship between the superintendent and the school board.
I think it's the relationship. We're not the boss and she's not the boss. We work together. We have to work together. You have to talk about everything. If she wants to do something, we have to look at all the aspects of it. What your ROI is, whether it's benefit to children, the dollars, the building, whatever it is. What's the outcome of it? And work together to get to that. We don't. I don't look at it as we're the boss or she's the boss, because you have to work together. If one wants to have the thumb on top of the other, it's not going to ever work.
All right. What do you consider to be the primary areas of accountability for the superintendent?
The primary area, I think it's the first and foremost is the children's education. Is it where it should be? Are they learning what they should be? Are they where they should be? Why? What is she doing to help advance that? Then to make sure that our dollars are spent in the best way they can be spent to help the children. But it all boils down to holding them accountable to make sure that what is being done in the district helps the children advance and succeed.
Mr. Brewster, you're up next.
Kind of brand
Okay,
identity
and let me
you
get
would
to the
want to name
document.
for it. I want you today to think of 3 company ideas.
So the last question
That
was the
doesn't mean
accountability of the
we're
superintendent
going
on
to
question 12.
It's so much work.
Yes.
But
Yes,
I want
okay,
you
let's
guys to
making
think of
sure.
3,
Okay, so the
because
question 12.
first idea is not your best. Maybe it's only on the second or third idea. when
It
you're
is
like,
important for a director to know. Wait,
And
one
like
second.
I said,
Sorry, my teacher was talking. Okay. It is important for a director to know what the parents and what the parents and other community members are thinking about the schools. What ideas do you have on how to improve the outreach to our parents and increase community involvement in our schools?
It's like I said, if you don't know what their parents and the community are thinking or want out of the school, how are you going to be a director? How are you going to be on the school board and help direct the school in the right direction? You need to get out there and talk to them. You need to be involved. If they have an open house, you should be at the open house. You should be at things at the school so you can talk to the parents, talk to them on it. You don't have to be there all the time, but you want to be out there. You want to go to the, when the community has meetings or has things going on, you want to be involved in those. So you can figure out what they want out of school and how to get them involved in doing that. If you're not visible, you can't get anything done. You have to be out there for them to see you and be able to talk to you.
Have you had an opportunity to review the district's budget? If so, what is your opinion of how funds are currently being spent?
I've got the budget, but I haven't gone over it. I haven't looked at it. I've been so busy with the kids, everything else going on that I haven't looked at it. But it's on my chair, on the table next to my chair, but so.
Fair enough.
All right, question 14. If you had the ability to introduce one practice, procedure, process into the Tuckahoe School District at this time, what would it be?
I can't honestly say what I would introduce right now because I don't know them all. I don't know each school and what needs to be done in overall. So really can't, to be honest, I really can't say there's any one process except being out there and being visible and involved.
All right, 15. If you're attending a school or community event and a parent makes statements critical of a teacher, how would you respond?
I would have to go quietly pull them aside and talk to them and ask them why. What, why are they so critical of this teacher? What, you know, and then go talking to other parents to see if it's just a bad feeling or, and you can't take one person's word. There's always, but I would have to do some probing and ask them, you know, in a friendly way. Sometimes you have to be a little deceptive about how you get the information because they're not so forthcoming. Like I've had a lot of parents come up to me and ask, what teacher should I send my child to in next year? Well, I know what my children, what teachers have gone through. I really like those teachers. But I've also talked to the other teachers and been in their classrooms, and you know, overall they're all the same. They're all pretty good teachers. Some are more strict and in their classrooms, hold your child more accountable, but others are a little more lenient, and the child's accountability isn't held at quite the highest level, but they bring out the best in the child too. So it all depends on how your child learns. So.
Being a director is a large commitment of time. How much time each week are you willing to spend and that you would expect to spend on school board activities?
Well, I'm retired. Pretty much my day is surrounded around the children getting them to school, picking them up, going to their soccer games or sports events, or like today we're going to their assembly. I don't know, you could spend 1 week, you could spend 30 hours or, you know, and next week you might not spend but 4 or 5. It just all depends on what's happening and how you're going to be, how much you're going to be involved in it. But yeah, it is a big commitment. Just you know, it depends on the activities at the school. You know, you go to those activities in the evening, there may be 2 or 3 in 1 week and nothing in the rest of the month. And so that's all, to me, that's all part of being on the school board.
All right. How should elected officials such as school board directors ensure that their entire constituency has a voice and not just those who are vocal and claim to speak for the majority?
Like I say, go out there and talk to them. Talk to them. All you have to do is most times, those quiet ones, you just have to go up and say, hello, how's your day going? And pretty soon you're talking about things. You just have to be open and go out there. I learned that about you. You just have to be open. Go be able to go out there and talk. Not be afraid to step forward.
Alex, you're up on question 18.
Okay, question 18. If a situation, discussion, or agenda item were to come to the board that could potentially be a conflict of interest, how would you handle it?
I would excuse myself. It's not fair to have, you know, to put my opinion in there when it could be, when it's most likely going to be biased. As a human, that's the way we are. Most likely you're going to be biased. It's not fair to cause that conflict, make that tension. So.
Okay, so last question. Is there anything else you'd like to share with us about you as a school director candidate that we may have failed to inquire about?
Not really. I'm pretty open about everything. Been around a long time. Miss Morris taught my children. So About it.
Great. Are there additional questions that any of us have besides what's here?
I guess one question that I had, just to kind of circle back around on the talking to the working as a team with the superintendent. What if and trying to get that cohesiveness, you saying that the board's not the boss, we're going to work together. What happens if there's a situation where there's a disagreement? Are you going to go with the board more, or are you going to work more with the superintendent? Because there will be those situations, I think, that'll come up that we're not going to see eye to eye on.
There's always gonna be those situations, but you gotta look at it, to try and get the win-win out. And nobody's gonna get 100% their way, no matter what they do. I'll guarantee you that. So you have to try to look at it so you can get a win out. Yeah, there's gonna be times the board's just gonna have to say, no, this is the way it's gotta be. But before that's done, the board better make sure that they have all the information they need. They've looked at all sides of it. They looked at the outcome that could happen, all the outcomes, good, the bad, and the not so bad. So, but yeah, that's going to happen. It happened when we met multiple times. But you just have to look at, because you don't want to cause it so that you're always this way, no matter what it is. You don't want that tension there. So,
Thank you.
I have one additional follow-up question as well, and I'm going to try and lean into kind of my own experience to ask it. So, I agree to an extent around this is around racial equity. I agree to an extent that there's certainly a balance, right, in wanting to honor family and honor student, right? While also teaching truth and making sure that we are grounded in the reality of the racist world that we live in. And so I'm actually going to actually bring it around to gender because I think this is an interesting one where, again, I want to speak about my own experience and use that as a for this follow-up question. So, I think there are a lot of people, in a variety of different cultures who have a lot of feelings around gender, right? And particularly gender expansiveness. And a lot of folks based on their own belief system often really settle into the binary, right? And have a hard time being open to anything outside of the binary. And so, oftentimes we might have students, well, I guess so there's two things. One, do you see it as our responsibility to teach about gender education and gender justice, even if and when a family might not believe that there are genders beyond just the binary? So that's one. And then the second piece is, how do you see us as a district honoring the student who perhaps their own identities might not align with the values of their parents? And then how do we as a system support that while also still, of course, honoring the different culture?
Well, I had to deal with a couple of gender people at work. They were transferring trans over from male to female. It's quite interesting. But it's a fine line because we need to teach it. It needs to be taught so everybody understands it's out
Trans people? That trans people exist?
there.
You mean?
Gender,
Okay.
trans, all this. It's there. It's a reality of life. It's part of the world now. I think it's a big part of the world. It's tough when you have parents that don't believe in it and the child does, because then you're pitting the child against the parent, or it's already done and you're taking sides. So I think we have to look at it and for the benefit of the child, do what's best for the child. because the child's gonna live with this the rest of his life, or the rest of their life. Even though it may go against their parents, because you can't help a child succeed if they're not comfortable and able to learn in the environment they want to be, they set for themselves.
So it sounds like you would be willing to take a stand as a district that in support of a young person's identity.
Yeah, we would have to. I mean, you can't not do it, because if you don't do it, then what's going to happen to the child? The children is what we as a district are worried about. We want the parents involved as much as they can get involved. We want them help teaching and raising their children. There's those instances where you can't, whether it's gender or, child abuse or whatever it is. You're still gonna teach that child. We got to work with that child. So yeah, you have to do it.
Anything else?
Did that answer your question?
Yes, enough. Yes. You'll learn from them pretty quickly. I'm not very, it's hard to really satisfy me, but that's okay.
Well, no, I mean, to me, I had to, like I said, at Boeing, I had to deal with that. And I had to work with that person, and I had to work with those people on my crews that didn't believe in it. And they would say, "Well, you're standing by them more." Well, no, I'm not. I'm just. They have a life and they want to live it the way they want to live it. And that's fine. So all I'm doing is helping them fit in to the way they want to fit in. I learned about them. I talked to them. I taught how, and the crew came around. The majority of them came around and understood that, no, it's trying to make some cohesive work for, so that this person feels comfortable. They don't feel like they're an outcast. They're part of it. And it worked. They came in, they worked, and most of it, I can't say all of it because there's never going to be 100%. But most of them loved having them on their crew. They worked hard. They worked together. They joked. They became friends. So you have to look at the win of the situation. The child in life, after they're out of high school, you want them to win. You want them to succeed. And they've already kind of told you it doesn't matter what their parents want. They're going to do what they want. So you might as well help them succeed in life.
Thank you. All right. Well, at this time, again, we just want to thank you so much for coming in. And we're going to slide into an executive session to kind of chat a little bit. And then we will be likely, I don't want to say 100%, but likely adding this as an action to our meeting on the 14th, where we will put up the appointment for approval. But we'll be in touch in the meantime.
Okay. All right. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Giving so
Bye.
much to this district.
Go to the assemblies now.
Yeah, it's 2:00. My daughter's singing in her class, and my grandson is speaking.
Oh, nice.
My other son, he said, "Nope, I don't want to get up." Okay, no
The
worries.
quiet one, huh?
Yeah, no, he's quite loud, but he doesn't like being in front
Oh,
of people.
yeah.
All right, thank you. You guys have a good afternoon.
Thanks you as well. All right, so we are going to go into executive session, and I'm noticing welcome, Mr. Camacho. Thanks for joining to listen in to the interview. But we are going to go to executive session now, so I will invite you to leave. You are welcome to come back after, but nothing exciting will be happening. We'll just end the meeting. So totally up to you. But we will. We can always come back early, right? We can come back early from executive session, right, Dr. Larson? We just can't extend without coming back. So I'm saying if we said 12, but we ended up getting done early, that's allowable. Okay. So,
Yeah.
all right. So we'll take 25 minutes in executive session and return back at 12. Okay. All right, it is 12:02 and we are back from executive session. And I realized that I forgot to say what the executive session was, so I'm going to do it now. We were just in an executive session to evaluate the qualifications of a candidate for appointment to elective office per RCW 42.30.110H. And again, it is 12:02 when we came out. And now we will officially move to adjourn our meeting.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Thank you, Alex. Have a good rest of your day at school.